Farming in southern Africa isn't quite what it used to be. So our North families who have tilled the land for generations are living in terror or have left the country to start a new life. This side of the Limpopo, what used to be an escape from urban stress, has in many areas become a high-risk existence, with farm killings hardly making the news bulletins these days. But tonight we take an in-depth look at the bloodshed around us and the possible causes for it, in a program that has taken 6 months to produce. It's a disturbing story with visuals that will upset many viewers, and is definitely not for children.
A mother's hand on her daughter's coffin. And a teenage boy crying out for his mother. Overwhelmed by emotion, a family member faints at the graveside. In just 7 days, South African farming communities have buried yet another 3 victims of murder. Elsie Swart was killed shortly after her 50th birthday. I feel bitter. She was severely tortured, say her parents. Burned with an electric iron, beaten and then strangled to death. A day earlier, 73-year-old James Twine was buried in another rural town. He was shot dead in cold blood while kneeling down in front of his killers in his farmhouse. My heart is sore. He was a good man, says this farm worker who has lived on the farm since childhood. Members of the South African Police Service are also struggling to deal with the senseless killings.
Most of these people are very old, law-abiding, God-fearing citizens, and murdered in cold blood. Sometimes I can see my own parents. My parents are also very old, and I'm always glad that it didn't happen to my parents.
Superintendent Anton Krafort has been a forensic cop for 27 years. The last 10 spent at the Criminal Record Centre in Witbank, about 100 kilometers east of Pretoria. The cops here have long lost count of the murders they have attended on farms in this province. What awaits them on a call-out is usually a scene of indescribable brutality. Like so many other victims, this elderly couple arrived back home from church on a Sunday morning. In a macabre display, the killers left their Bibles displayed on the bodies. In an outside room, a third member of the family was tied up with wire, then tortured and killed. Scenes like these are difficult to forget, and to deal with the trauma, even the most hardened policemen often need psychiatric counseling.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. I normally get flashbacks every day. You always dream about most of this stuff. You always relive it. It's like a video on rewind. It always comes back. But I'm coping at not 100%, but I'm surviving.
Another day and yet another farm murder to solve. This man was killed for a bit of cash, says the superintendent. And for little else, it seems. But what goes through one's mind? Seeing brutality like this, day after day.
I would like to get this bastard. I would like to gather enough forensic evidence, but I would like to take him to court, because I want a successful conviction.
But not all policemen are as dedicated. Beatrice Freitas is the survivor of 2 farm attacks. In neither case has anyone been brought to book.
No, these things just died.
The Freitas family immigrated from Madeira to South Africa more than 40 years ago. They established a huge nursery on farmland near the Mozambican border, supplying trees and plants to outlets across southern Africa. Beatrice still tends the beautiful garden, but the house is empty now. 6 years ago, she arrived home after sunset and was overpowered as she parked her car.
As I turned, I just felt this hand on my neck. And so when I looked, there were 4 guys like this. You can't think. I wasn't scared. It's like my mind disappeared.
Beatrice and her permanently disabled husband, Jose, were tied up in the bathroom while the intruders ransacked the house.
And after a while, they got me up and they left my husband locked in there. Then they asked me where the iron was. I said, it's in the laundry. So off we go to the laundry. And then they started taking my clothes off. And and that's where two of them raped me.
But the rape was only the start of her nightmare.
I happened to have 2.5 liters of oil, and they took that and they just poured all over me. They connected the iron on the wall. All I remembered just lying there and screaming. And it was a couple of kicks and a couple of irons.